Hey, it's Adam, and in this video, I'm going to be teaching you a very powerful and simple technique for dealing with strong negative emotions. So if you have any emotions that you don't like, such as depression, sadness, anger, jealousy, fear, terror, any type of really negative emotion that you don't want to be there, this technique is extremely powerful for giving you power over your emotions so that you can deal with them in a mature way. Now, this technique here is super simple. We're going to be getting into it right now. But first, I want you to realize that emotional mastery is the key to being an amazing human being. So if you want to have success in any area of your life, so whether it be your business, your relationship, your health, all of it comes down to your ability to control your emotions. How high is your level of emotional intelligence? How high is your level of emotional mastery? Now, this technique here is super duper simple, but is also a little bit counterintuitive, meaning that it's the opposite of what you might think to do. So let's get into it right now. How do we deal with strong negative emotions? So the first thing you have to realize is that emotions happen in your body, right? So let's say I have a very strong negative emotion. Let's say I have some anger. The first step of this technique is to acknowledge that the anger is there. So acknowledge, oh, I'm angry. That's very key because most people don't even know that they're angry when they're angry. So the first step for dealing with strong negative emotions is to acknowledge that the emotion is there. Now, the second step is to become very present. So in order to do this, you have to detach yourself from any thought story that is running around in your mind. So normally when we're angry, we have a body feeling. Maybe it feels like tension or tightness in your chest or in your throat, or maybe even in your forehead. And the body feeling is also accompanied by a thought story. So there's some type of story that you're telling yourself that is either making you angry or you're using to justify your anger. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to have to detach yourself from this thought temporarily. A good way to do this is to take a breath and become aware that the present moment is all that exists. So you have to become present. And a really good way to do this is to feel into your body. So feel deeply into the fact that you have a body. So take a deep breath. Okay, now we're present. And now I want you to feel if there's any type of tension in your body. So let's say I have this feeling of anger, right? So now you have to feel the anger fully. Feel it. Because what we normally do when we feel any type of negative emotion is we resist. And we try and distract ourselves. We try and hold tension in our body. We try and ignore the emotion. We try and suppress the emotion. We try and judge ourselves for feeling the way that we feel. And this is normal. The ego loves to resist the present moment. Now, the key to this technique is opening yourself up to the negative emotion and allowing yourself to feel it fully. So you have to allow yourself to feel vulnerable. So if you're feeling angry, realize that it's okay and you're not going to get hurt by feeling angry. Or let's say you feel very depressed. Notice that if you feel this depression fully, it's not going to hurt you. Whenever we suffer from a negative emotion, so if we feel suffering because we're angry, the reason why we're suffering is not because the anger is there, but the reason why we're suffering is because we're resisting the anger. The resistance is what causes the suffering, not the actual emotion itself. So what we're going to do is we're gonna feel the emotion in our body. And we're not gonna think about it, we're not gonna conceptualize about it, we're not gonna try and convince ourselves about any type of logical thought story, but instead we're gonna detach ourselves from the thought stories and we're gonna deeply feel into the emotion. So what helps me is to feel the area of my body where there's tension, and I'm just going to allow that tension to be there. So that's step 2. Now, step 3 is to observe the emotion with curiosity and detachment. So I feel some anger in my chest. Okay, what is anger? This is very interesting. Okay, I have some anger in my throat. Okay, why is that tension? Okay, what is an emotion? What is anger? What is tension? Why is it there? What is it trying to tell me? What does it mean? Do I have to hold on to it? Or maybe I can try letting it go? What happens when I let it go? Does that feel better? Or does it feel worse? So we're taking an attitude of observation and curiosity. So what you're going to do is you're going to observe this feeling in your body, almost like a scientist would observe an animal in the wild. So let's say I'm a biologist and I'm observing some frogs in the forest. I'm not going to judge the frogs. I'm not going to resist the frogs. I'm not going to criticize the frogs, but I'm just going to observe them with curiosity. What are the frogs doing? Why are they doing what they're doing? Oh, they're hopping around? Oh, okay, that's interesting. I'm going to take note of that. Right? So the scientist has an attitude of openness, an attitude of curiosity. And that's the exact attitude you need to cultivate within yourself whenever we're dealing with strong negative emotions. So, okay, so I got this tightness in my chest. Oh, okay. I'm going to allow it to be there. I'm just going to feel it fully. Now, another thing that helps a lot is taking a very deep breath, breathing deeply into your heart space, and also relaxing tension in your body, especially tension that is in your belly. So I'm going to do that right now. So tension in your belly, tension in your shoulders, tension in your throat, in your forehead. If there's any tension in your chest, you want to breathe deeply into it and relax it. And also you can allow it to be there. So if you breathe into it and you find it's not going away, that's okay. You can just relax through it. Allow it to be there and still relax. So we feel, we relax body tension. Now the next step, this is the last step, the most important step, is to do nothing. So we're just going to allow that emotion to be there and we're not going to do anything about it. So we're literally embracing the present moment with this negative emotion. This is key. So we're going to do nothing. We're going to allow the emotion to be there. And we're also even going to take it a step further, and we're going to try and embrace the emotion with open arms. Anger? Oh, I love anger. Let's give this anger a big hug. Let's allow this emotion to be there. Let's feel this emotion fully. You can even try being grateful for the fact that you are alive and that you have the privilege to feel negative emotions. That you have the privilege to be a human being that can feel anger or can feel depression or jealousy or disgust or hatred. Realize that you have the privilege of feeling anger and embrace it. Love the feeling of anger. What is it? It's just a feeling of tension in my body. And notice that when you breathe into it and when you allow it to be there and when you detach from your thought stories that are making a storm in your mind, when you detach from that and you just feel the anger in your body, then in a really weird way, it actually starts to feel kind of good. Because the negativity, the suffering, only comes when you're resisting the feeling, when you're resisting the present moment. If you can fully allow the anger to be there, if you can relax your body like a newborn baby, and you can be fully relaxed, and you can allow this feeling to be there, then it's not gonna be anger anymore, but it's actually gonna transform into a pleasurable feeling. It's actually gonna turn into joy. It's gonna turn into bliss. And this is a pretty amazing phenomenon. This has happened to me many, many times, hundreds of times, because I practice this a lot. And that's another thing I wanted to say, that this technique here, it's a practice. You're not going to be very good at it the first time you try, and you also are going to have to keep doing it. So this technique, you don't just do it once and then all of a sudden the anger is gonna go away. But what's gonna happen realistically is that you're gonna feel the anger, you're gonna feel it fully, you're gonna open yourself up to the anger. You're going to stop resisting the anger. And then you're just going to observe it with curiosity. You're going to allow it to be there. But then in 10 seconds or in 20 seconds, what's going to happen is you're going to close off again. And you're going to get stuck in your mind again about why you're angry. So now you have to reopen. You have to open yourself again. You have to keep doing this. Being open isn't like a one-time thing. It's not like you open yourself up once and then you're good. You have to continually remain open in each present moment. That's why meditation practice is so important, because what meditation is it's just observing and accepting the present moment as it's occurring. And this is why people who practice lots of meditation, if you talk to them, or I'm talking about people who practice meditation for 10 years, 20 years. If you hang out around them, if you talk to them, they're very mellow. They're very chill. They're not easily triggered by things. Because the second they feel anger or disgust or hatred, the second they feel it, they're open to it. They're allowing it to be there. And then they can either choose to express it if they want, or they can just let it go. right? So that's the entire technique. This is how you develop emotional mastery. You have to allow negative emotions to be there. And even better, you actually have to love the negative emotion. You have to love it. You have to be able to be curious about it. Honestly, as I do this practice more and more, I notice myself start to laugh or start to get really happy when I start to feel depressed, or if I feel angry, or if I feel disgusted. It's kind of funny, honestly. Like, I actually have allowed myself to be so detached from this emotion that I can laugh when I'm feeling angry. And that's a very liberating experience. That's how you get freedom in your life. That's how you become successful in your relationships or in your business or in your health, is by not being controlled by your emotions, but by actually allowing yourself to detach yourself from them and feel into them fully and allow them to be there. Now, before I end this video, I want to answer one very important objection that many people have. So many people, when they hear me talk about detachment, they think that by becoming detached from my anger, then I'm just going to become some type of unfeeling robot, where I'm just going to become some type of cold, hard-nosed, unfeeling person. But that's a trick. That's a trick of the mind. Because the ego thinks that unless it's angry or unless it's depressed, then the ego feels like the anger or the depression is serving a useful purpose. Like, oh, I'm angry at racist people, so this anger is serving a purpose. And unless I'm angry, then racism is going to run amok in the world. So the way that I solve the problem is by being angry. Or let's say your girlfriend is hanging out with some guys and you feel jealous, right? You feel like that jealousy is serving a purpose. You feel like, oh, unless I feel jealous, then how am I going to stop my girlfriend from hanging out with all these guys? What if she cheats on me? Right? So unless I feel jealous, then if I don't feel jealous, then bad things are going to happen to me. If I don't feel angry, then bad things are going to happen to me. The ego thinks that these negative emotions are serving a purpose. Now, in one sense, they actually are serving a purpose, but from another sense, from a different perspective, you can only take effective action in your life if you have detachment from your emotions. So if I'm in my anger, if I don't have detachment from my anger, but if I'm in it, then I'm going to do something rash. I'm going to act out in a way that might cause more problems for me and for the people who I love. But if I detach from the anger, what I'm actually doing is I'm allowing myself to feel it fully. So I'm not going to become some type of unfeeling, cold-hearted robot, but it's actually the opposite. I'm going to become more fully feeling. I'm going to feel my emotions more fully. I'm going to enjoy life more. I'm actually going to start to enjoy the feeling of anger. I'm going to feel it so fully until it actually transforms into pleasure, right? Which is actually a very powerful experience. So you can use this practice to deal with strong negative emotions in your life. Again, so just to recap, you have to acknowledge the emotion is there. You have to allow it to be there, and you have to feel into it. You have to try and relax body tension and take some deep breaths. And you have to be curious. You have to be curious. So what is anger? What is sadness? What is disgust? Where is it located in my body? And then from that place, you just do nothing. And you allow the emotion to keep being there. And then you have to keep reopening yourself, because you're going to naturally close off after 30 seconds or maybe after 5 minutes. And then you're going to have to reopen yourself in every single present moment. So that's all I got for you here. Thank you so much for listening. If you like this video, then I have other videos on my channel about other techniques that will help you with your emotional mastery. Techniques, I have an easy meditation practice that works very, very well with this practice. So check out that video. I have playlists with all the videos of me explaining some very deep and important spiritual concepts. I talk a lot about personal psychology. So this channel is about helping you master and understand your own psychology. And when you understand your own psychology, you can create a powerful and successful life for yourself. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked this video. I hope it was useful for you. Stay tuned. I got more videos coming every single week, and I will see you in the next one.